Hello, I'm Ronnie Eldridge. Welcome to Eldridge and Company. Even though Egyptian women and their children were part of the revolutionary forces in Egypt and joyously celebrated the people's victory, they know they still have a struggle to achieve true justice, freedom, and dignity. My guest is Nawal El Saadawi, a renowned Egyptian icon, a novelist, physician, scholar, and leading feminist activist. And she is prepared for this challenge. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So I read something that you said during the revolution or the uprising. Does it have a different meaning, revolution and uprising?
I prefer revolution.
All right. That's because you're a revolutionary. You said it was like a dream. It must have been so exciting to see all of that. Tell me about it.
It was, since I was a child, 10 years of age, I was very sensitive to injustices, and I was surrounded by injustices because I came from a peasant, poor family, and I was a girl. So I felt that in school, at home, in the street, that I am not equal to others. I am not equal to my brother. I am not equal even to the girl schoolmate whose father is richer or has higher post than my father. Class, she belongs to upper class. So I very much felt class oppression and gender oppression. So I rebelled. And I was dreaming of another world where people are equal and there is dignity for me, because I felt that my dignity is lost by how people treat me. And also I felt there is no freedom, there is no justice. So I was dreaming of this revolution since 10 years. So it was delayed 70 years.
And you went through so much to get there and see that. And so you knew what repression was really like and what the whole thing was about.
Yes, but I struggled and I won, you know.
Yep.
I was never defeated. Can you imagine?
That's what made you're so strong, right? It just
yes, it's like vaccination. When you take vaccination against certain disease, you become resistant to it.
And you never become pessimistic about it. You never let that, you have this optimism.
Yes.
And this joy of doing this.
Oh, I am a happy person.
That's wonderful.
I am a happy person.
Despite everything.
But I teach creativity and dissidence. And creativity, though it has a very high price, I paid a very, very high price for my freedom and dignity. But what makes me happy and powerful and optimistic is this pleasure of creativity. When I write a novel, I feel as if I own the world, you know. I am flying when I write a good novel. When I'm writing a good paragraph, I feel the pleasure of creativity. And this erases away all pain and all misery and all sadness.
And you need, when you're writing a novel, you need to live in the world of the novel, don't you?
Yes.
So you don't want all those voices and all those other pressures on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I create my own world.
Yeah.
And I live in it.
Yeah. So you have this strength that is so admirable. I don't know. Let's talk about where you take that strength. It's not all going to be smooth sailing, is it, from now on for Egyptian women in the new country? We don't know what the new government is really going to be like. And and I don't, it's hard for us to understand. But the military being right now is the major power, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So is that...
But the people are, the military and the people are major power.
Right.
You know that.
Well, that's what you showed.
Who will win?
Yeah.
It's like Mubarak and the people.
Yeah.
Mubarak resisted with all his police power, and even he wanted the military to interfere, but the military refused.
That was what was so interesting. Why did the military refuse?
You know, the military in Egypt has a very good history, patriotic, like in Tunisia. The military is not supposed to protect the president.
President.
They are supposed to protect the people. That's in their law. They are fighting external enemy, not internal people.
I see. Yes.
It's not like the police.
Yeah.
So the military has a good history in Egypt, but also the power of the people. I think the most important thing in the revolution of Egypt, the power of the millions, united millions, united, like one person. It was great.
But do you think that we'll ever be able to see economic democracy as well? That's a major
No,
challenge.
we have to fight for it.
Yeah.
Because the revolution does not happen in few days. It takes years. Right. It starts, that's the spark.
Right.
And then it needs a lot of work.
It does.
And a lot of struggle in relation to the working class and women. Right. Because who takes the power usually? It's men.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, and upper class.
Yeah.
They have the money and the means.
Right.
So everybody now is trying to fight against the working class and against women. So that's why we should be united as women, and the working class, they should have very strong unions. Very strong unions.
In this country, we're seeing just the opposite. We need a universal revolution. You know, we see the tax benefits for the very rich. We see the cutting of all the social programs for the very poor and the poor and the middle class. And it is just amazing. And it's the same thing. Why do we think that the people with all the money are the smartest? I don't know.
I wonder, but there was some demonstration in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Why not the American people
Why?
revolt?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
You need a revolution.
Yes.
Really?
We haven't had that kind of groundswell for something, I think, since the Vietnam War. You know, we've broken it down. I mean, the women had a very strong constituency for a while, the gay and lesbian and transgender, and they've had a very strong constituency. But we've all done it separately. It hasn't brought everybody together. And that's what I think was so striking about Egypt.
We were united.
Yeah.
United, men and women, Christians and Muslims, children and adults.
Yeah. It was
Everybody united. It was great. And also civilized, and also very peaceful. We were very peaceful.
It's wonderful.
Even with the people who killed us, you know.
Now you're faced with a committee, a group that's been appointed to write a new constitution.
Yeah.
And is there one woman on it? Did I read?
No.
That's the only
Not
woman in
a
the
single.
cabinet. She's the woman in the cabinet. No women
No women in the new committee
for the Constitution.
for the Constitution.
No young people
And no young people. It was 8 old men of law.
with white hair. Look at us.
I'm not against old age, but they should include young men
Young people.
and
Absolutely.
women
Yeah.
who made the revolution.
Yes.
Because those old people did not participate in the revolution.
So do you think you will have the power to make them appoint
Yes.
somebody?
Yes. Now people know the way.
Yeah.
They say, if they don't do it, we'll go to Tahrir Square. We know our place now.
You know, the square means freedom, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's the square. It
I mean, the
means, yeah,
name, the name.
because it is the place
Yeah.
where we always gathered.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in writing the new you still have this emergency rule on.
Yes, and so there are those are the demands that should be done by the new government.
Right. And these is this the group that you had meeting at your apartment in Cairo?
No, there are many groups. In fact, what is good about the revolution? It doesn't have a leader or a star or one group.
Right.
It's very, very spread and collective. I believe in collective leadership.
Right. But do you talk to each other?
Yes, there's
good.
coordination and cooperation. But each group meet. So some of the groups, they meet in my home. And in fact, the idea of the Million Women March came in my home. And they started with men. You know, can you imagine? It was the young men who were so enthusiastic about the Women March.
That's so good. On the International Women's Day,
Yes, they say.
show everything. Right.
But we have two International Women Days in Egypt, 8 March and 16 March.
Oh, so what's going to happen next week?
Yes, we are going to organize another march on the 16th if no demands happen, if our demands are not. Why 16 March? Because in the revolution of 1919 in Egypt, a young woman was killed. Her name was Hamida Khalil, when we were fighting the British and the Egyptians in the revolution of 1919. She was killed. And that's why the women movement in Egypt said our international day is 16 March. So we have 8 March and 16 March.
We come down, and in your lifetime, the resistance that you've had in organizing and the organizations that you've helped form that have then been prohibited to be in Egypt. I understand that you're reorganizing.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Yes.
Excuse me.
In fact, we started to organize all the time. Women in Egypt wanted to have a union, like the union of the labor union. Every group has a union to fight for their rights. And who stood against us was the wife of Sadat and the wife of Mubarak, because they wanted to be the first lady, the leader, and nobody else to be with them, unless they are, slaves to them. The problem is I couldn't work with any of those first ladies. I couldn't. They wanted me to work with them. I couldn't. I cannot be a slave, because they are used to give orders, and we are supposed to obey. But I like discussions. So the problem is that they stopped any organization, except the one that is under their leadership and obedient to them. So, but now we are starting to have our Egyptian Women Union, but we need to change the law of associations and the law of political parties, because the law that was put by Sadat and Mubarak prohibit popular associations. Yeah, it must be semi-governmental. Yeah, they are afraid. They are very much afraid of organizations.
Well, they have reason to be now.
Of course, they have reasons. Yeah.
But don't people understand that the pressure gets so much that they can't keep it down?
Yes, they can't.
No.
It's beyond their power now.
Yeah, they
Because Mubarak resisted more than 18 days.
Unbelievable.
With all his power, he was ready to burn Egypt.
And all
But he couldn't.
And with the bribes and the people. The Constitution, I think, now makes it impossible for a woman to be president. Is that true?
No.
All right.
But the Constitution is very bad, and it's because they want to reform it. The committee that was organized was just to reform some items, but we refused the reforms, and we said there must be radical change for the Constitution. Number one, to be secular, because there are items that a bit religious.
It
Item
does come
two.
down. The basis for the laws in Egypt are Islamic, aren't they? Islam.
Not all.
Not all.
No.
All right.
All the laws are secular, except the marriage code. It's religious. Islamic for the Muslims and Christian for the Christian. Why? Usually I ask in many of my why the family code is still religious.
Right.
And all other laws are secular. But the Constitution is secular, but also there are some items, like item 2, that say that the religion of Egypt is Islam.
Right.
And we want
That's
to
what I
omit.
meant. Right.
We want to omit that item 2. And there is a fight now about that.
And that's does that contribute to the suspicion of, what is it, the Islamic Brotherhood? What do you?
Well, some people ask me this question: are you afraid of the Muslim Brothers? We said no.
Yeah.
Because the Muslim Brothers, the younger generations now, are secular, of the Muslim Brothers. The traditional leaders are religious, but the same with the with the Christian groups.
Yeah.
They are very religious. So we are not afraid of that. Our fear is related to the US power and Israel, you know. That's the real fear, external powers
Yeah.
who are afraid of the revolution.
It's the oil.
The problem of the region is the oil and Palestine, the land of Palestine.
Is it a universal feeling, the opposition to Israel?
The universal feeling related to what?
To Israel. It's not to the basic existence of Israel, is it?
No.
No.
We don't say Israel will throw it in the sea.
No.
We don't say that, no. But we say that Israel should respect the UN resolutions
Right.
and should go beyond the 1967 war, you know, and that she should respect the state of Palestine and all that, just to obey the UN resolutions.
Right.
But Israel never obeyed UN resolutions. And the US is using the veto in spite of that against Palestinian people. This is very, very strange. And it's very strange. And we didn't expect Obama to be like George Bush. But,
Well, I hope he's not going to be.
but in relation to Israel, it's the
It's
same.
a very
It's the
strong,
same.
yes, and he, especially because he's seeking re-election, it's a very strong lobby. You know,
A very strong
a
lobby.
lot of us want to see peace between the Palestinians and Israel.
But peace, you know, Palestinian people are peaceful and they were working for peace all the time. Who did the aggression? It was not the Palestinians. So there must be some justice. And also you cannot have peace without justice. You cannot have peace
You can't.
without justice.
It's the question. Other things that people always ask about Arabs, about the women's movement, and the consciousness of being a woman and independent. Is that going to be a hard thing to really have permeate? That you have a democracy. You've gotten rid of the ruling class. You have a democracy. Are we ever going to be able to really have all the women believe in equality?
Yes, women believe in equality.
They do.
Since they are born,
Right.
but they are silent. They tell them, shut up. They are afraid. Women are full of fears. I tried to get rid of my fear, you know, all my life. So women are ready for equality because it's for benefit. But men are resistant because equality against their interests.
Well, it's a very revolution in the home.
Yes, yes.
It just makes the power distribution totally different.
And democracy in the home, because usually I ask, what's democracy? If you don't have democracy at home, you cannot have a democracy in the state. And if you have class oppression and poverty, you cannot have democracy. Because democracy means economic equality, social equality, political equality, everything equality. If you don't have that, then that's why I didn't feel democracy here. I think there is a problem of democracy here.
You know, it was interesting before we were talking about religion being part of the state. And of course we have this enormous debate about gay marriage. And that's religion. Because you get a civil license to get married. It's just, why can't you do that? And then if you want to go on to a church and get married, then you do. But it's a universal thing. I mean, it's all over the world, isn't it?
I know, yes.
Our
Well,
religions are causing, it's a terrible thing for me to say, but our religions cause us many problems.
All religions.
Yeah,
All.
definitely.
Especially the monotheistic.
Yeah.
Monotheism. I am critical of the three monotheistic religions. And I spent years studying the three holy books, yeah. There are problems.
I've always felt that they were originated to keep law and order in a community.
Yeah.
Because they're based on fear, essentially.
Fear and oppression, slavery.
Yes.
Slavery. Because the three monotheistic religions when they evolved in history, it was a slave society. And that's why many of the slave value system reflected in the three religions.
It's interesting.
And especially slavery of women and of the poor.
You have been through so much, but it seems to me you still believe in political action. You do believe in a political action.
It depends.
Depends,
What do you
really.
mean by political
I don't know.
action?
When I asked the question, I got.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I believe in fact.
I mean,
in
do you
our-
want to see more, you want to see more women run for office and be elected?
No, no,
you
no,
don't?
no. I don't care about politics in a
That
sense.
sense.
To be a president. Even when I presented myself against Mubarak in 2005, I did it as a challenge to say, I am not with this regime, I am critical, and I am doing it because women have the right to be president, you know. But I was sure it will never happen. And the police was after me all the time. I am interested in having people to live a happy life. I want people, men and women, to have happy family, happy life. I'm not careful about offices. I'm not a politician.
Yeah.
I'm a novelist.
Yeah.
I'm a creative person. So I feel that, yes, you cannot be happy unless you have a state that is based on a constitution and law that make everybody equal. Part of our happiness is to have justice. So you need a constitution. You need politics. So everything is politics.
Yeah.
So that's why I am interested in politics, because without politics, we cannot have a good law or an equal constitution. We cannot have. So you have to go into politics.
It's interesting. I can't remember anybody who has the goal of bringing happiness to everybody. And it's a wonderful way to think about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a novelist, but you also were a practicing physician,
Yeah, I'm a psychiatrist.
a psychiatrist. But originally, weren't you practicing gynecology?
Yes, I was.
And is that, it seems to me reading it, that's what sort of spurred all the activism, gave birth to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
When you are a medical doctor, in
Yeah.
fact, though I never wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a dancer. That was my dream in childhood, to dance and to
Be free.
play music and play and sing. But my father and mother wanted me to be a medical doctor. But I never regret it. It's important. And creativity, I teach creativity and dissidence. And the basis of creativity is connection, to connect the physical with the political, the personal with the political, the medicine with literature, with politics, with economics, with history. We study in our universities in a very fragmented way, fragmented knowledge. You know, doctors know nothing about politics or economics, though it's related. Writers know nothing about the body, the dissection of the body. It's important to know how my lung works,
Right.
etc. So we need to connect between these different areas.
It seems to me here, the educational system, more and more young people in college studying are picking specific skills. And that's a very,
Very bad, very bad. And I have been teaching here in the States for almost 20 years. And I teach creativity and dissidence.
I love that.
Yeah, and I try to undo what education did to students, you know, to unfragment, because their head is full of fragmented knowledge because of specialization in very minute little things. Of course, specialization is very important, but we have to reunite and to reconnect.
Right. And it's the opposite of your concept of collectivism. If you want to work with all different kinds of people and groups,
Yes.
you have to have a broad range, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So are we ever going to achieve that?
I beg your pardon?
Are we going to achieve that? Are we going to change it?
Yes,
We are.
I am hopeful, and hope is power. We are going. Because if we look back 100 years ago,
Right.
we're humanity. We are more human now.
Yeah.
Do you think so? You agree?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I think there is progress all
Yes,
the time.
yeah. I think that that's a wonderful attitude to have, and it's something everybody has. That you present this incredible palette of love, happiness, progress, creativity, poetry, novels. It's wonderful.
Though my life is the opposite.
Well, we've come to the end of this half hour. I can't believe it, and I'm sorry because I would love to talk to you forever, but thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there are any people you'd like to hear and topics you'd like us to explore, please let me know. You can write to me at CUNY TV, 365 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10016, or you can go to the website at cuny.tv and click on Contact Us. I look forward to hearing from you.